Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for more survivalists, and in this case it's an EDC update. At least this is what I took today. So just out and about, walking a little bit, nothing out of the ordinary, but just one of those days. And this is what I took in my pocket. So it's usually, as you guys know, it's usually kind of the same thing, and maybe there's a little variations here and there. Maybe I go with one thing or another, but I always try to stick to the same basics. So in this case, for today, I went with one of these masks. Yes, these are those surgical masks that this is what I wear when I feel I don't need to wear anything at all and I just want to get by and not be disturbed. So this is it. If I'm going to be going in some place where I feel or I believe I do need actual real protection and I want to wear something that's really going to be protecting me, I will go with an actual P2 or P3 mask, usually one of these FFP2 masks or an actual mask with proper filtering cartridges. That's what I use when I'm going indoors and somewhere where I feel it's a little bit more of a possible problem. This is just complying, getting by without being bothered by anyone busting your balls. That's basically it. In terms of, well, the cell phone, wallet, as always, nothing out there of the ordinary. In terms of glasses, I'm still using these and I need to replace these because these are my Wiley X Valors that have been horribly bad for me. Look at how they peeled off on that anti-reflex material, just peeled off horribly on both sides. Contacted Wiley X. Well, I attempt to do that to any of the numbers and emails that they have available. Nothing. It is non-existent customer service from Wiley X. Real disappointment there. So I'm going to be going with some more brand, likely Oakley. What else? Well, same keys as always. This setup is something that I've been sticking with for several years now. So you have my Victorinox mini champ, which is packed full of little useful tools. A peanut titanium lighter, Pico bar. I don't even know what type of brand this is. Just one of those tiny pry bars. I use it a lot for opening packages, that sort of thing, when I don't want to bring out an actual knife and any little prying task, but mostly trying to keep it a little bit sharp so as to open any mail that I need to open. And I have a little ThruNite T flashlight here, which uses AAA batteries. It has a very low moonlight mode, and you have a bunch of different modes there. Handy little flashlight, more of a backup for me, but this is what I keep in my keys. In my car keys, I keep setups that I've shown in other videos, but since I was just going walking, didn't take my car keys. In terms of flashlight, this is the Streamlight Protec 1L 1AA, and yes, that is a bit of a mouthful, but that's the actual name of this thing. And there's really nothing special. It's a pretty basic flashlight. You have your mode there, a couple of modes. I guess you can go into some moonlight mode there at some point or not. Some of these programs get quite a bit complex, but if I want to go with something moonlight, I would probably use that. This is more for an actual, a bit more powerful flashlight. One of the things I like about this one in particular, and I'll leave the link below if I find it, guys. Usually it's hit and miss. Sometimes I find stuff and not. But the nice thing about these ones is that these are multi-battery. You can use either CR123A batteries like this one. You can use a AA, or you can use a AAA battery in this thing, and it's multi-powered flashlight. I think it's officially the AAA is not recognized, but you can throw a AAA in here and it will still work. I've done that many times and it works actually quite well. So this is one of the more useful flashlights, like for a prepper or a survivalist. The idea of using pretty much most of the commonly available batteries, that is a big plus. It's a bit of a larger flashlight, but you get a bit more throw in this thing, which is always good. Well, at least when you want to go with a bit of a larger flashlight, that's the option that I went with today. In terms of folder, just basic cold steel Voyager, more of the classic type of folder. combo edge, so the straight and serrated, tanto tip, which is something that cold steel usually does quite well. I've used some of these for a while back in the day. I EDC'd for years probably a tanto blade by cold steel, and so I'm kind of used to it. The nice thing about these ones is that this part here, that little tip, that allows you to do some detailed cutting like you would use the ordinary tip in a more common type of blade geometry. So that is quite useful for, you know, some of those cutter tests that you want to make some precision cutting with that tip. You would use this, and of course the actual tip is very, very strong, being tanto shaped. The combo edge, some people like, some people hate. I usually prefer a straight edge. That's the way I usually go with, but I understand that here you have the advantage of some of the harder materials. You can serrate a little bit more. Usually I would rather go with a combo wedge like the one you have in the Victorinox. This makes more sense because in this case you're slashing with those serrations, or you're using those serrations for what you need mostly serrations for. And the advantage of serrations is that sometimes you are avoiding contact with very hard surfaces while cutting material, so that's an advantage here, while the straight edge is closer to your grip and it's not as likely to make contact with anything you're trying to avoid, while at the same time it's a lot better for push cutting. We're trying to make like feather stick or carving in wood. This is what you're going to be using, and that's why this makes more sense in this part of the blade. So yeah, that's, you know, nice design as always by Victorinox. Here though, there's somewhat of a logic, and you see this in some of the tactical knives, some of the K-bars that you've seen with combo edge, where you have some serrations here. That is because for the user, it's typically going to be someone that doesn't know how to sharpen a knife. That's your average soldier simply has no clue how to sharpen a knife. Probably doesn't even have a sharpener, and even if he did, he just doesn't know how to use it. So in those cases, if you still need to cut something in an emergency, those serrations may save the day, because that's the last part that will lose its edge. So if you're cutting rope to save your life, some cordage, some gear that just needs to be cut, you can power your way through if you have some serrations there. All right, so I see that as the logic and why they put those serrations in that part of a blade, and I guess it does make sense. For a multi-tool, as always, my Leatherman Charge TTI. I'd like to get at one of the newer versions, but this one has been working so well for me. I just don't feel that much of an urgent need. I also have the nicer steel with this S30V blade that's holding an edge better than I think it's a better steel than the current production one. I think that they're now using 154. I don't know. Either case, this is just a very good multi-tool and great steel for that blade. So yeah, eventually I'll get one, but I'm still happy enough with my original old school Leatherman Charge. And yeah, for watch, this you know, vintage looking G-Shock that I'm pretty fond of lately. That's it, guys. That's all that I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. See you in our next video. Have an awesome day. Take care.